Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jana, and today I'm going to be talking about why I closed my Etsy shop business. So in 2018, I launched a hand lettering business called Lettering by Jana, and basically it was just born out of a hobby pretty much. Like I just started getting into hand lettering. I saw someone else do it. I was like, that's really cool. I want to start doing that. And so I just practiced, learned how to do it, and then I got to the point where, I would just be doodling at church or I don't know, somewhere where people would see me doodle, and then people would be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, you're really good at that. And then I would get, several comments like, hey, would you, if I pay you, would you be willing to like make me something with your lettering? Or people would be like, hey, would you teach me how to do it? So I ended up launching an Etsy shop because I was starting to get so many different commissions from different friends and family that I was like, okay, maybe, this makes sense to go ahead and put it out there. So I did. And I did a lot of research to see if like an Etsy shop was the best idea. And I do believe it was, because Etsy is just a super easy to access type of platform. It's really easy to understand. Everything, I honestly just had a really great experience with it. And it's really, low upfront costs for a business owner to have products and be able to sell them. So I absolutely love that. And I started creating more pieces. So I would create like handwritten journals and stickers and commissioned pieces, and I even got into apparel, all sorts of stuff. But one of my biggest products was a car hang, and pretty much it was like this like 3-inch acrylic see-through disc, and then I would people would basically send in a quote or a lyric or a verse that they love, and then I would put it on there with my lettering, and I would put some sort of other little decoration or something that was meaningful to them. And that was probably my most popular piece. I feel like I sold those more than anything else, and I even had reoccurring customers with those, because I would have people that would want a summer themed car hang and then a winter themed car hang, and kind of change it out for different seasons, which was really fun. And so I just started building it. At the time I was renting out a room at someone's house, and so I was, it was kind of like college age, so I was doing that, and I was working a full-time job. I was door dashing, and I was doing this, and I was also super active in church, things like that. So I had a pretty like packed schedule. And basically a couple years later, I think it was around 2021, I had gotten to the point where I was getting regular orders every single month, like consistently. I had grown a pretty good Instagram presence and Facebook presence, and had an engaged community on both of that platforms. I'd done multiple collaborations. I'd even come out with like mugs and ornaments, things like that. And around Christmas time, my business actually did really well. So I was making around, on average, I would say anywhere from like $400 to $500 a month. Sometimes it was more like $600. It just kind of depended on the month. But I was doing pretty well with that, where I'm like, that's a pretty good chunk of change, right, for a side hustle. However, around 2021, it got to the point where I either was like, okay, I either need to scale this and make it full time, or I need to slow it down, because my life was just picking up, getting a lot busier. And it was really something where I was like, could I see myself scaling this and going full time? So at that time, I'd already been looking around at a lot of the other different creators in my space who were full time in a similar business. And I just looked at their lives, and I looked at their videos, and it was like they just spent all of their time packing orders, and their homes became their warehouses for their product. Because when you are doing something like that on Etsy, a lot of times you're housing your own inventory, and that's what was happening. So for me, I didn't have a lot of space. I didn't want to use the space that I had to, stock up on all of this inventory. And it was kind of the point too where I was like, okay, I probably need to invest in different equipment, different shipping supplies, all of that I hadn't already. And so it was like, okay, if I'm about to invest all this money into what this will require to really grow, is it going to be worth it, and is it going to be sustainable for me? And personally, the answer is no, which is why I chose to close my Etsy shop. So for me, I have read so many different leadership books. I've read so many books from different business owners, entrepreneurs, and one consistent theme I've seen from successful people who have gone out on their own to do a business is they're like, find something that you love doing and that you can wake up every day excited about, helping people in that area, or excited about doing that job. So because it's like, when you are an entrepreneur, you're giving it 110%. You know, it's not like your job where you can show up and give 50% one day and 70% the next day. It's like, no, you've got to give it your all, because you're everything. You know, you are the marketing director, and you are the CEO, and you are the salesperson. You know, you're handling all these different hats in your own business. And so for me, when I looked at myself down the road, like, hey, if I choose to scale this 2 years from now, am I going to be happy I did that? Am I going to be, you know, able to sustain that? Am I going to enjoy that? And the answer really was no. It was like, yes, I love that this could be an option for financial freedom for me. But at the same time, like, I saw all these hours that people put into this, and like other people that had scaled their own businesses that were similar to mine, you know, they were working 80-hour weeks just packing orders. And I'm like, that's not really my goal. You know, my goal would be to have financial freedom and time freedom, and I don't really see that being feasible with this. And so I ended up closing my shop, and I don't regret that at all. It's given me so much more time and energy to refocus on something I'm more passionate about. And so right now, that's helping people to make extra income. One thing for me was that once I became a wife and a mom, I realized how hard money can be sometimes, and how much of a stressor that can be on your marriage and on your family and on your home life. And I just don't want that to be an issue for me, but I especially just don't want it to be an issue for other people too, if I can help it. So what was frustrating for me was there would be months, you know, where maybe my husband was out of work, or maybe I was going through a job slump or something, and you just need an extra $100 a month. You just need an extra $200 a month. And I'm like, what's annoying is like, that's not enough to like go get a part-time job just to make that much. But it's also really hard to find side hustles that make more than, you know, $20. Like when I would go on places, I would see, hey, here's the survey you can take and get $10, or, you know, things like that, or play this game. And I was like, that stuff is not helpful. I don't want to do that stuff. And so now I've been able to refocus on doing content creation, doing influencer brand deals, UGC brand deals, which is something I'm way more excited about, fits way better into my lifestyle, and still gives me more time with my family, like what I want. And so that's what I'm working on scaling, and I'm hoping to help other moms be able to do the same. I am helping other moms to do the same, especially when they have the same, you know, burden of like, hey, I just need to make a couple extra $100 a month. So I hope that this video gave you some good insight. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below, and make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.